what have we put in this ordinance in terms of protections that you will not find in state DEP regulatory process. First of all, we've got a review process before our planning board, a hydrological review with independent third-party confirmation if at the discretion of the planning board. But in addition to the hydrogeological studies, they're going to look at traffic impacts, noise, glare from lighting, and they will have the authority to impose conditions on the permittee. And that will specifically include limiting the hours of operation. Ongoing monitoring of water levels and water quality will be required. Adopted site plans must include alert and action levels. If these levels are exceeded, the permit holder will be required to reduce or stop the extraction of water. Permit duration will be limited to 3 years. Planning board will be required to review and approve permit renewals as well as new permits. The Wells Select Board will have the authority to suspend or terminate permits. And most importantly, I believe, a regulatory ordinance gives the town the power to enforce a suspension or termination of a permit through its code enforcement office. Without this ordinance, relying on the state, our options will be reduced to calling our state representatives and writing letters of complaint to the DEP in Augusta. With the town code enforcement office empowered to turn off the pump, we can do exactly that. So in my mind, the question before us on November 3rd is whether this more stringent regulatory process imposed by the town of Wells will be approved, or whether a more lax process supervised by one guy behind a desk in Augusta better protects the town of Wells.
I've lived in Wells for 16 years, and I've been a mechanic for Poland Spring for almost 4 years now. Like all of us here tonight, I want what's best for our town and for my family. I have a stake in this. It's personal to me. We know that water ordinances have worked in other Maine towns and have protected water resources. One example is Hollis, where I work. Local people are in control. The aquifer is constantly monitored. No wells have gone dry. Lots of local people are employed. And you don't have to just take my word for it. I understand that our town planner, Mike Houston, was asked by the planning board and the select boards to call towns in Maine where Poland Spring operates. When he did, he reported that he got no negative reports back from those towns. Here in Wells, we have lots of water. By passing this ordinance, the town can have a say. We can strongly regulate water and support jobs at the same time. Poland Spring is a good company. They pay me well, I get good benefits, I can support my family. The company wins awards for environmental leadership. We donate water to schools and police and fire departments. We sponsor local events like the Wells Chili Fest and the Kennebunk Firemen's Triathlon. We have a college scholarship program for high school seniors. If disaster strikes, we make sure people have safe drinking water. It seems like every day I hear about another local business like R.R. Donnelly here in Wells closing or laying off more workers. Let's do something to help ourselves. Let's pass this ordinance. The water ordinance puts us, the people of Wells, in control. It protects and regulates water, but it also allows good companies like mine to locate here.
But I've had a long association with the town of Wells since 1973 when I opened my business here and ran it for 20 years. I've been involved in Rotary, been involved in the Chamber of Commerce, and I've been very much involved in starting the senior center and so forth. So anyway, I came here because I wanted to have an opportunity to speak to you in my support for the water regulation ordinance. Recently, I began volunteering for the Voices of Reason. We are a group of local people who believe that the people of Branch Brook area deserve facts, not water hysteria when it comes to the water withdrawal issue. I believe that everyone in this room tonight is well-meaning, but unfortunately, there has been a lot of misinformation spread throughout in regard to this topic. We all are entitled to our opinions about water withdrawal, but not to make our own facts up. Here are some of the protections that I support in the Wells Ordinance. The town of Wells will have the authority to shut down water withdrawal when necessary. Any company granted a permit by the Wells Planning Board will be given a 3-year permit, not 30 years, as I've heard some people say. Wells will be able to hire their own hydrogeologist, and the applicant has to pay for that. Anyone granted a permit has to report water monitoring data to the town's code enforcement officer regularly to ensure full public inspection. The ordinances opposes a liability on anyone granted a permit if they ever damage any private or public water supply. And the town will require anyone granted a permit to post a bond to ensure all requirements are adhered to. This ordinance has also been vetted and scrutinized over many months by the town's Ordinance Review Committee, the Planning Board, and the Select Board, and the town's attorney. It seems clear to me, and I think to anyone who reads this ordinance, that a lot of care and thought went into it. It went into protecting the town's groundwater in all circumstances, protecting homeowners' wells, protecting local roads, and ensuring that the town has control. It comes down to this final point. If the town of Wells does not pass this ordinance, a water extractor can just get a state permit and start withdrawing water, and local people will not have a say. But if you do pass this ordinance, the people of Wells will have control.
Since the day I've arrived in this town, I have volunteered to make this town a better place. Large-scale water extraction is about regulation and protection, about local regulation and protection. The last person I need is somebody from the state of Maine, the government, in Augusta, telling me what I need to do here. The Wells Water Extraction Ordinance is the best way to preserve local control and protect our resources. The goal of the town of Wells' large-scale water extraction is to protect the quality and quantity of the water body, surface water and groundwater, to ensure that any large-scale water extraction is subjected to review and approval by the Planning Board. Seems clear. To ensure the sustainability and quality of our water supplies is maintained without interruption. All applicants are required to be held to performance standards which safeguard the town's water levels and water quality. If it goes below the level, they're not going to be pumping. They're not going to continue to pump. We're not going to import water from somewhere else while we're exporting it to someone else. It's not going to happen. Passage of our ordinance will mean continuous water level monitoring by certified geologists who will report to the town. It'll require applicants to conduct water level tests on all public and private wells near the withdrawal site. And they're not going to just come on someone's private property. They're going to ask for permission. So let that ease your mind. Under our ordinance, the quality of water extracted cannot negatively impact or diminish surface waters or groundwaters within the town, including during any period of drought. 1999? Water withdrawal cannot adversely affect the long-term sustainability of the aquifer. It cannot negatively affect local drinking water. These performance standards are mandated in the ordinance. Our town's roads are going to be protected through the site plan. Local ordinances are legal and binding. Look at our own Chapter 145, the land use. People have taken us to Superior Court, and they've lost. Education, not fear, is the best course of action.
And California has a shortage of water. But if you just go and look at some of the maps that we have right here from the National Geological Society, we are in an area of the country that has more water than any other part of the country. But all along, I've heard this corporation, this corporation, this corporation. When we were charged with the duty of coming up with a water extraction ordinance or a ban, we were not charged with not permitting one company that some people don't like from coming into this town. was strictly against a multinational corporation. We're surrounded by multinational corporations. Hannaford's one of the biggest ones. We've got CVS, we've got Rite Aid, we've got Walgreens, McDonald's, and Dunkin' Donuts, and everyone else. We can't be isolationist. But the whole point is, the scare tactics that have been used about the water are just not what's relevant here in Maine.
Do I want to allow water extraction? Yes, I do. Do I want to protect the homeowners that are out there? Yes, I do. This is the best thing that we can come up with in the time period that we've had. And I like it. I think it's going to protect the homeowners, and that's my concern. As far as trusting the DEP, no. I'm all set with trusting the DEP.